So, good morning to all students. Uh, as per our last class, we had discussed about the blood pressure. Today we will uh, continue the same topic, and yesterday we have done till systolic and diastolic pressure. Systolic and diastolic pressure. So, what the systolic and diastolic pressure? Diastolic pressure. So, what happens when the blood flow from our body? Then the contractions and relaxations of the heart also creates some of the pressure in the valley, that is the blood vessels, and the blood vessels create a maximum and the minimum pressure on the wall of the vessels. So it enforces to go to circulate throughout the body, that pressurize the wall of the vessel, and that is simply called as the systolic pressure, or what we can call as the when the contractions of vessels produce, then it create maximum pressures on the wall of the vessels, and that, or we can call as the wall of the arteries, and that pressure is called as systolic pressure. Normally in you while you going to check the blood pressure, it is written as 20/80 Hg. Okay, mmHg. So what it means? It means the maximum pressure of the wall is 120. Maximum pressure during the flow or during the contractions of muscles of the ventricles, and that is 120 mmHg. It creates 120 mmHg of pressures on the wall of the arteries or the vessels. Then what is Hg then? And it is also, the maximum pressure is called as systolic pressure. Okay, systolic pressure. Then the next one is that 80 is been written here. And what is 80? It means diastolic pressure. Okay, it is diastolic pressure. So then what is diastolic pressure? Diastolic pressure is what? When the muscles of the ventricle come into relaxations. What happens? When the heart contract, it creates maximum pressure. When it release or relax, then it creates minimum pressure. Relaxations of blood ventricles. So due to the relaxations of the pressure in the ventricles, it also reduce or decrease the pressure in the arteries. It also decrease the pressure in the arteries. Where? Artery. Artery, the pressure decrease into minimum. That is, arteries means the wall of the arteries. The pressure create while flowing the blood in the wall of the artery will become minimum, and that is called as what? Diastolic pressure. Okay, so diastolic pressure means the minimum pressure exerted by the blood during the flow to the wall of the arteries are called as diastolic pressure. It ranges from 50 to 90 mmHg. If it is more than that, then we call as you got high pressure. And if it reduce more less than 60, then we call as you got what? You got low pressure. So if the range is 120 to 80 mmHg, if it is less than this, less, then what happen? Low blood pressure. Okay, and if it's more than this, then we call as high blood pressure. So it means that the high blood pressure patient will go more than 120 systolic pressure and 80 diastolic pressure. And the persons who got low blood pressure, they will have less than 120 diastolic pressure, systolic pressure, and less than 80 diastolic pressure. So this is the general concept for the pressure, okay, systolic and diastolic pressure. So how it measures? Blood pressure is measured, or the instrument that help to measure the blood pressure are called as sphygmomanometer. What? Sphygmomanometer. Sphygmomanometer is the instrument used to measure blood pressure. So, sphygmomanometer is the instrument used to measure the blood pressure. Now comes to the next one. So, what we call as, if the person will get more than 120 to 80 mmHg, then we call as it is high blood pressure. When it is more than 120 and 80 mmHg. When a person got more than 120 to 80 mmHg, then we call the person is suffering from high blood pressure. So do you know what are the causes of high blood pressure? What are the causes of high blood pressure? Sometimes it may be because of the genetic changes or inheritance. Your ancestors are suffering from the blood pressure, high blood pressure. It may be transmitted to the other generations. So it is general that goes to the generations. But along this also, some of our unhealthy behaviors may also cause high blood pressure. Now, what are the unhealthy behaviors? Like, for example, smoking. Smoking is the one of the causes of high blood pressure because it damages the lungs, and the oxygens in the lungs will be the oxygens cannot be gained by the blood, and so that to gain the oxygens, it will circulate more and more blood to the body, and that creates pressures on the wall. The next one is overweight. Overweight also create high blood pressure. Then the next one is the lack of physical activities. you can see to the most of the children nowadays, they are only watching TV and watching games or playing games in computer or in mobile, but they are not physically active. So when they move somewhere else or run fast, then they will become tired much and their pressure increase much. Why? Because they are physically inactive. So physically inactive is also the another cause of high blood pressure. Then next one is, that is consuming more salt. If you consume large amount of salt daily in your diet, okay, it may also cause what? Blood pressure. And consumptions alcohol consumptions also causes blood pressure. And the another one is the stress, or that is what? Afraid. When you are stressed, you are in depressions or the another parts, then you will cause high blood pressure. Stress means you are taking too much tensions, then it will create more blood pressure. Then 7, aging also, when the people become old, they will have a high blood pressure than the children. Then next one is the various diseases we can call as the chronic kidney or other diseases also may cause what? That is high blood pressure. And the next one is the thyroid disorder. Okay, thyroid disorder. So what we come to know that pressure measures in two ways: systolic and diastolic pressure. Systolic pressure means the pressure that is exerted to the wall of the arteries. The maximum pressure that exerted to the wall of the arteries while flowing the blood, that is called as systolic pressure. The average peoples have 120 mm Hg. Then the diastolic pressure, it is the what? It is the minimum or decrease minimum pressure created means on the wall of the arteries due to the relaxation of ventricle is called as diastolic pressure. So the average persons have 120 80/80 mm Hg, means 120 systolic pressure and 80 diastolic pressure. If the persons got more than 120 and 80 mm Hg, then the persons are called that is suffering from high blood pressure. And if he or she got less than 120 to 80 mm Hg, then we call as he is suffering or he or she is suffering from low blood pressure. And how we can measure it? So it can be measured by sphygmomanometer. Sphygmomanometer is the instrument that help to measure the blood pressures. So the next topic we have discussed about is high blood pressure. So high blood pressure means the persons having more than 120 and 80 mm Hg pressure. So what are the causes of high blood pressure? The causes of high blood pressure means one is the genetic, it is genetic or inheritance, and the another difference means practice or we ignoring our health may also create high blood pressure, such as smoking, overweight, lack of physical activities, consuming more salt and diet, alcohol consumptions, stress, we take more tensions, aging, chronic disease or long-term disease, and thyroid disorder. So the next topic is how we can prevent for it. How we can prevent preventions. So we can protect ourselves from high blood pressure by following some of the habits. So while eating, we should avoid overeating. Avoid overeating. Okay, number one, we should not eat too much. So it will create us what? More means our weight will increase. And reduce fat from body, or it can be done by what? Consume less fat contain foods. If the food contain high fat, then you don't have to take that one. Then smoking and alcohol. Smoking and alcohol consumptions must not be done. Okay, smoking and alcohol consumptions must not be done. Then physical means we have to participate in physical exercise. We can call as regular physical exercise. Regular physical exercise. Okay, then the next one is we should not take much stress. So these are the way that we can reduce blood pressure. Then the next one, we can talk about the coagulations of blood. Have you heard this word, coagulations of blood? I don't think so. If you, then it is good. Coagulations of blood means when you get injured in your body, then the bloods come out. And after few minutes, you may see that without doing anything, your blood stop to flow outside. How it can be possible? How it can be possible? It is the natural process and it is possible. Okay. Coagulation of blood means, what is coagulation of blood? It is the process of formations of blood clot, which block the damaged part of the blood vessels to overflow the blood. So we will continue this one tomorrow. So thank you to all of you.